Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to being truly well-informed, packed with surprising facts, and just enough humor to keep you hooked.
Great to be diving in.
Before we plunge into today's topic, just a quick note. If you're looking for more incredible insights like what you're about to hear, please do make sure you visit Mind Expansion Daily.
Yeah, definitely worth checking out.
And while you're there, maybe like and subscribe. It really supports the show, helps us keep doing these deep dives.
Helps us a lot.
And, if you appreciate the information we're sharing today, you can always buy us a coffee. There's a link for that right in the description.
We appreciate the support.
Okay, let's unpack a truly fascinating and, well, frankly, a bit unsettling topic today. We're setting our sights on the Manila Trench. It's sometimes called the Philippines' biggest hidden danger.
A sleeping giant, you might say.
Exactly.
Oh.
So our mission here is to distill the really critical insights from the research, the articles, all about this massive deep-sea trench.
There's a lot to unpack.
Get ready for some genuine aha moments, I think, and some pretty surprising facts about the sheer scale of this threat and the science revealing its secrets.
Let's get into it.
So when we talk about the Manila Trench, what exactly are we dealing with? I mean, where is it, and what makes it such a geological powerhouse?
Well, what's really fascinating here, it's not just, a deep spot. It's this colossal deep-sea trench. It stretches over 1,300 kilometers long.
1,300 kilometers.
Yeah, huge. You'll find it in the western Pacific Ocean, specifically west of the Philippines.
Right.
And its formation is, well, it's a classic, powerful example of plate tectonics. It's an oceanic trench created by subduction.
Subduction, so one plate sliding under another.
Precisely. You've got the Sunda Plate, that's part of the larger Eurasian plate. It's diving down beneath the Philippine Mobile Belt.
So we have one massive piece of the Earth's crust essentially sliding underneath another. That just sounds like a recipe for, well, immense geological forces.
It absolutely is.
How deep does it actually go? And what is it about this subduction process itself that creates such a big seismic threat?
It goes deep. It plunges to impressive depths, reaching about 5,400 meters.
Wow, 5,400. That's...
Yeah. And to put that in perspective, it's dramatically deeper than the surrounding South China Sea, which only averages about 1,500 meters.
Okay.
So this subduction zone is basically a crucible of geological activity. As these huge tectonic plates grind against each other, they don't just slide smoothly.
Right, they stick.
They snag, they build up an incredible amount of pressure, of strain, and when that pressure gets too much and is suddenly released...
That's the earthquake.
That's when we experience earthquakes, yeah. And sometimes, potentially on a colossal scale from a feature like this.
And it's not just a straightforward, simple dive down, is it? I read its structure is quite intricate. That must add to the complexity, right?
That's spot on. Yeah, the trench has a really complex structure, particularly in its northern section.
Okay, what happens there?
Up there, it transitions from, let's say, normal subduction to what geologists call a collisional regime. This is near Taiwan.
Collision, so they're hitting head-on more.
Kind of, yeah. And that collision is actually responsible for creating the Taiwan orogeny, basically, building the mountains in Taiwan.
Interesting.
And another key thing, the plate convergence rates, how fast they're moving together.
Right.
They're quite high. Estimates are around 50 to 100 millimeters per year.
And is that fast, geologically speaking?
It is, yeah. Compared to many other subduction zones globally, that's faster.
Okay.
Now, combine that speed with something called relatively low plate coupling. Think of it like only about 1% of the plates are truly locked together, like surfaces barely gripping each other.
So mostly sliding, but some parts are really stuck.
Sort of. It suggests the trench is absorbing a substantial amount of strain, but maybe in specific, highly stressed patches. This continuous, unreleased buildup of energy, that's what sets the stage for potentially incredibly powerful quakes later on.
That immense pressure. Sounds like it's just building towards something significant. Which brings us to, well, the really crucial question. What kind of threats does this massive geological feature truly pose for the region? We're not just talking minor tremors here, are we?
No, not at all. The Manila Trench has the capacity, the potential to generate what we call megathrust earthquakes.
Megathrust, those are the big ones, right?
They're the most powerful types, yeah.
Yeah.
They happen when all that accumulated stress in a subduction zone is released over a vast fault area.
Okay.
And the critical insight here is that this destructive potential isn't just theory. It's a proven active danger. We've actually seen historical examples of its power.
Like what?
Well, remember the 2006 Pingtung dual earthquakes? They were magnitude 7.0,
Mm,
and they produced a 40-centimeter tsunami. Now, that doesn't sound huge, 40 centimeter,
right, less than half a meter.
but it was the largest recorded on Taiwan's southwest coast from an event like that. It proves that even, let's say, moderate events from this trench can trigger significant tsunamis that hit populated areas.
And, okay, if a 7.0 produced a 40-centimeter wave, what's the potential for something far, far worse if all that stored energy you mentioned gets released?
That's the worrying part. Recent studies paint a very concerning picture. They warn of potential magnitudes up to a staggering mil-W 9.2.
9.2, that's enormous.
It is. To put that into perspective, it's comparable to the devastating 2004 Sumatra earthquake. Remember the destruction that caused across the Indian Ocean.
Absolutely unforgettable.
So a 2024 study, which specifically looked at tsunami hazards, modeled the Manila Trench. They divided it into 3 potential rupture segments.
Okay.
And each of these segments, just on its own, is thought to be capable of producing earthquakes between magnitude 8.0 and 9.0.
Wow, each segment.
Each segment, with an estimated return period of about 1,000 years.
A 1,000-year return period. I mean, that sounds like a long time, but geologically maybe not. And given the scale, what would a worst-case scenario actually look like for the millions living nearby?
Well, if you connect this to the bigger picture, that mil-W 9.2 quake, the modeled worst case, it could generate tsunami waves up to 10 meters high.
10 meters. That's like a 3-story building.
Exactly. And that would be absolutely devastating for coastlines. We're talking the Philippines, southern Taiwan, southeastern China, even Vietnam.
And this isn't just theoretical modeling, is it? I saw something about recent concerns.
Right. In December 2024, PHIVOLCS, that's the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, they raised specific concerns
Okay.
about a potential MLW 8.4 quake originating near Ilocos Sur. Their models predicted waves up to 14.7 meters.
Nearly 15 meters.
Reaching northern Luzon in as little as 2 minutes.
2 minutes. There's no time.
Imagine that, 2 minutes to react to a nearly 15-meter wall of water. And the historical record, it really underscores this destructive potential. We've had other significant quakes from the trench. MLW 7.1 in 1999 caused deaths and injuries.
Right.
And there's even geological evidence pointing to a huge basin-wide tsunami way back, around 1064 CE, probably from a massive Manila Trench quake, affecting sites from Luzon all the way to southern China.
So the history shows it's capable.
These events are stark reminders, yeah. It's an inherent danger.
That's an incredibly short warning time and just terrifyingly high waves. So what does this all mean for the millions, literally millions of people living nearby? Why is this particular trench such a pressing concern, maybe distinct from other seismic zones?
Yeah, this raises that important question. Are communities truly ready for what might come? The Manila Trench's threat, it's significantly amplified because it's so close to incredibly densely populated areas.
Like Manila itself.
Exactly. Take Metro Manila. It's a sprawling urban center, home to over 13 million people.
13 million.
For a city of that scale, the earthquakes themselves pose the greatest immediate threat. To life, property, the whole economy, a megathrust quake could trigger just widespread destruction.
And then the tsunami adds another layer.
And any accompanying tsunamis would, of course, amplify that damage immensely in all the coastal regions.
We're talking about very rapid, very high waves then, hitting areas with huge populations and potentially without enough warning or preparedness.
Precisely. PHIVOLCS simulations, the ones I mentioned, they've shown a tsunami from the trench could inundate areas like Paluig and Zambales, for instance, within just 2 minutes.
Minutes again.
With waves potentially reaching up to 15 meters high. And what really makes this danger worse is the widespread lack of preparedness in many local communities.
People just don't know.
Many residents are simply unaware of the specific risks posed by the Manila Trench itself. And unfortunately, a lot of the existing infrastructure, well, it fails to meet modern seismic standards.
Right. Buildings aren't ready.
Not always, no.
And given the geography of the Philippines, all those islands, all that coastline, it feels like it would be uniquely vulnerable to tsunamis.
It absolutely is. The Philippines' archipelagic nature, with countless coastal settlements scattered across its many islands, makes it inherently highly susceptible to tsunamis.
Yeah.
But the concern doesn't stop just there. Neighboring countries like Taiwan, Vietnam, even Malaysia could also face severe flooding and significant economic disruption from a large-scale event.
The regional threat.
Definitely. Remember that 2006 Pingtung tsunami? Even though it was relatively small, 40 centimeters, it served as a potent demonstration of how quickly even a modest wave can impact nearby coasts.
Yeah, it showed the connection.
It underscores the urgent need for really robust, rapid response systems that, frankly, cross borders.
Okay, let's dive deeper now into the core science. What are researchers actually discovering about the trench's complex dynamics? And crucially, how are we getting better at monitoring it? Hopefully giving people more precious time.
Yeah, the science behind the threat, it really reinforces the urgency. The Manila Trench's seismic activity is fundamentally driven by those relentless subduction dynamics we talked about.
The Sunda Plate diving under the Philippine Sea Plate.
Exactly. And this process creates an incredibly intense zone of pressure. Researchers have found evidence of significant deformation within the trench's accretionary wedge.
The what now? Accretionary wedge.
Sorry. That's basically the pile of material scraped off the top of the subducting plate as it goes down, like snow piling up in front of a plow.
Got it. Okay, so there's deformation there.
Yeah, they've identified features like back thrust faults, microfractures near submerged seamounts. All these things indicate that this trench is immensely geologically active and, well, primed for large ruptures.
And you mentioned earlier that the northern part, near Taiwan, is particularly complex. Can you maybe explain again why that transition from subduction to collision intensifies the seismic stress there?
Sure, think of it like this. In typical subduction, one plate slides relatively smoothly under another. But near Taiwan, it's not just sliding, the plates are actually colliding.
Right, bumping into each other.
This collision regime in the northern section significantly increases the seismic stress accumulated in the area because the movement is more forceful, less fluid. It's like a traffic jam versus flowing traffic.
Okay, that makes sense.
And a really crucial finding from recent studies highlights the trench's high interseismic coupling.
Interseismic coupling.
It basically means how much the plates are locked together between earthquakes. High coupling means they're gripping really tightly.
So it's like a wound-up spring constantly building tension.
That's a great analogy, yeah. Imagine trying to slide two giant pieces of sandpaper past each other. If they grip really tightly, a lot of tension builds up until they suddenly jerk free. That's the essence of high interseismic coupling.
Okay. And what about this alarming absence of really large earthquakes since the 1560s? You mentioned slip deficit of 30 meters. What does that imply?
It implies a monumental potential for energy release. The fact that we haven't seen an earthquake above magnitude 7.6 in this specific region since the 1560s suggests one of two things. Either the trench is largely aseismic, meaning it releases stress slowly and creepily without big quakes, which seems less likely given the dynamics, or it's highly locked. It's been silently accumulating over 30 meters of slip deficit over centuries.
30 meters. What does that mean exactly? Slip deficit.
It means the plates should have moved past each other by about 30 meters over that time to keep up with the overall plate motion, but they haven't. They're stuck. So that 30 meters of movement is currently stored as potential energy, like that tightly wound up spring you mentioned.
Ready to spring back.
Exactly. And that 30 meters of stored slip could fuel a truly massive quake. Models predict a possible rupture length of up to 1,000 kilometers.
1,000 kilometers. That's huge.
It's a scale eerily similar to the devastating 2004 Sumatra earthquake.
Mm-hmm.
And furthermore, there's the presence of what are called blind thrust faults within the trench's proto-thrust zone.
Blind thrust faults. Hidden dangers.
Essentially, yeah. They're buried faults that don't necessarily break the surface, but they could trigger high-magnitude quakes and tsunamis without clear warning signs beforehand. Another layer of hidden danger.
That sounds like a monumental puzzle to solve, but there have been significant advances in monitoring, right? How are we getting better at understanding this sleeping giant and, critically, giving people more time to react?
We are indeed. Advances in monitoring are really making a tangible difference. For instance, a 2019 study used ocean bottom seismometers, OBS, basically instruments placed right on the seafloor.
Okay, down in the trench itself.
Yeah. And they recorded a remarkable 1,437 seismic events over just 44 days.
Wow, that's a lot of activity.
It revealed far more dynamic seismic activity than we previously understood. And that data allows researchers to refine their earthquake and tsunami models, leading to much more accurate hazard assessments.
Better prediction. predictions.
Hopefully, yes. And Fieschi Vales AU, as we mentioned, is actively monitoring the trench. They issue crucial warnings, like those after the December 2024 earthquake swarm near Sur. These efforts are absolutely critical for early warning systems. They can provide precious minutes, which can literally be the difference between life and death for people to evacuate.
So technology is really stepping up to give us that vital advance notice.
Yes, technological advancements are playing a huge role. High-resolution ocean modeling, advanced geodetic monitoring, like using GPS to track tiny ground movements,
Huh.
they're significantly enhancing our ability to predict how a rupture might happen.
Hmm.
That same 2024 study that modeled tsunami hazards, it used detailed topographic data, land shape and bathymetric data seafloor shape, to model tsunami heights really precisely.
So they know where the water would go.
Exactly, identifying the most vulnerable coastal areas. And that kind of information is invaluable for informing the design of, say, tsunami-resistant infrastructure. Things like reinforced marine structures, which can significantly mitigate damage.
Makes sense. Are there still challenges, though?
Oh, absolutely. Challenges persist. For one, the region's turbulent seas can make collecting data from these sensitive instruments pretty complicated.
Right, rough waters.
And there's still a really pressing need for widespread public education on crucial evacuation procedures. Knowing what to do when the warning comes is just as important as the warning itself.
Okay. Given all this scientific understanding and the stark reality of the threat, what can actually be done? What's the path forward for mitigating these potentially devastating risks?
Yeah, this is where science meets real-world application, hopefully making a tangible difference.
Yeah.
Mitigating the Manila Trench's threats, it really requires a multifaceted, coordinated approach.
Not just one solution.
No, definitely not. First and foremost, there needs to be significant investment in those early warning systems. That means leveraging real-time seismic monitoring, tsunami alerts, expanding their coverage.
Getting the word out.
And crucially, improving public awareness campaigns. PHI CS's ongoing work is a vital start, but it really needs to be scaled up significantly.
And what about the physical infrastructure, especially in places like Metro Manila with that huge population density you mentioned?
That's the second critical piece. Infrastructure in high-risk areas, especially Metro Manila, needs extensive retrofitting.
Strengthening buildings.
Exactly. Making sure they can withstand both severe earthquake shaking and the potential impact of tsunamis. Think of it like a massive engineering challenge. Earthquake proofing, a bustling metropolis, one building, one bridge at a time.
A huge task.
Immense. And third, community education is paramount. We need programs to teach residents clear evacuation routes, practical preparedness measures, what to have in an emergency kit, family plans, that kind of thing.
So people know what to do instinctively.
Reducing panic, saving lives during a crisis, that knowledge is key.
And because tsunamis don't respect borders, I imagine international collaboration is absolutely essential here too.
It truly is.
Right.
International collaboration is crucial for regional coordination in disaster response because, as we've discussed, a major tsunami from the Manila Trench would undoubtedly affect multiple countries. We only need to look back at the lessons from the 2004 Sumatra tsunami, which tragically claimed over 230,000 lives, to understand the profound importance of rapid, coordinated preparedness and response across nations.
We need to work together.
Absolutely. And finally, just sustained continued research into the trench's seismogenic potential, really digging into the details of slab geometry, fault dynamics, how stress builds and releases. This will continually refine our hazard models and ultimately save lives. It's an ongoing scientific effort with very, very real human implications.
So we've taken a deep dive into the Manila Trench, a true geological powerhouse that also happens to be the Philippines' biggest hidden danger. The core insight here, I think, is that this isn't just some geological wonder to study from afar.
No, it's active.
It's a significant active threat with real potential for those megathrust earthquakes and massive tsunamis, as recent studies and historical events unequivocally show. The urgency of preparedness, advanced monitoring, building resilient infrastructure, and widespread education for communities. It just cannot be overstated. It's a sobering thought, isn't it? To consider such a massive hidden power lurking beneath some of our most populated coastlines.
It really is. Makes you think.
Now consider this. While we can't stop the tectonic plates from moving, right? We can't stop them accumulating strain. But our understanding of them has grown exponentially.
Definitely.
So how might a global, truly unified data sharing system for monitoring subduction zones across all nations impacted by these colossal forces. How might that fundamentally change our ability to save lives in the next century?
That's a powerful question. Shared knowledge, shared warning.
What do you think about the Manila Trench's hidden dangers and the steps needed? Do you agree or disagree with our summary of the topic? We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below.
Yeah, let us know your thoughts.
And as we always say, we're trying to build a global community of informed learners here. So please, tell us where you're listening from. List your location in the comments as well. Our goal is to increase our reach worldwide and connect with curious minds everywhere.
It's great to see where everyone tunes in from.
Thank you for diving deep with us today. We can't wait for you to join us on the next deep dive.